go to meteorologist Tamara Berg now. She has a look at our forecast and folks counting on some decent weather to travel.
Yeah, you know, and today is a good day, but you may want to factor in, especially if you're going north or west of Sacramento, some of the wind. Wind has been gusty in a few spots, including up around Marysville and Yuba City. Those winds have been right now sustained out of the north at 28 miles per hour, and the winds have been occasionally breezy. Even as you go along into Sac International Airport, those winds have been in that 15 to 20 mile per hour range, and then the stronger winds really honing in here on the western side of the Sacramento Valley. You've been maybe hearing the wind if you're waking up and joining us in Brooks. Sustained winds at 24 miles an hour, closer to 30 out near Atlas Peak, and in Vacaville to Davis, those winds have been in the range of 25, closer to 30, with gusts up and over 30 here within the last hour. So on a day like this, you want to dress for the wind. If you're getting the family out the door on this Monday, maybe trying to go to the playground as the sun comes up about an hour from now, plan for those temperatures to feel like we're in the upper 30s in Modesto. Feels like 42 in Stockton, 44 Sacramento, 44 in Auburn, and 18 this morning in Truckee. Going along with the rest of our day, you'll notice the winds really ease up, especially beyond about mid-morning. So by lunchtime and beyond, we'll have sunny skies and temperatures reaching the mid-60s. That's average for this time of year, but there is some warming headed our way through the rest of this holiday week. I'll break down what those numbers look like coming up in your full forecast. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much.
So a lot of school districts have the entire week off for Thanksgiving, which means that a lot of families are heading out of town for the whole Thanksgiving break.
If you're flying, chances are every seat will be taken, and that means very close quarters when it comes to strangers. Melanie Wingo is live at Sac International with some etiquette of travel. Good morning.
Good morning. We're already hearing some of those early flights taking off here at SMF. And take a look at this. We just captured some video inside a very busy Terminal A, and in front of the departures area, it is busy too. So at times like this, travel experts say, once in a while, self-awareness gets lost in the shuffle. People kind of get wrapped up in their own journey and they forget there's a whole plane load of other travelers out there. That's why those travel experts are offering some ideas on what to avoid if you're taking a flight over the Thanksgiving holiday. First and foremost, they say seat kicking tops the list of the most annoying travel behaviors, along with armrest hogging and people who lean their seats all the way back into other travelers' spaces. On the plane is not the place to over imbibe. Avoid excessive alcohol consumption. That is an important idea, according to travel experts. They also say don't go overboard on perfume or cologne, and remember to keep good personal hygiene, if you know what I mean, when you're around other people. Keeping your shoes on. Don't put smelly and or bare feet on the armrest. Believe it or not, they say it's well documented online that people do those very things. Also, another good tip from the travel experts is leave pungent smelling foods at home. And, you know, Deirdre and Teo, I'm approaching this kind of like what you don't want to heat up in the microwave in the work break room. Mm-hmm. Leave the fish at home. Yeah. Broccoli, not maybe the most passenger-friendly food. Nope. We have a policy: don't bring hard-boiled eggs in the live van. Yep. It's just one of those rules. People don't want to smell that next to you.
It's all the stinkiest food.
Just a couple things to think about.
What are you having?
Yes.
Hard-boiled eggs and fish?
You're like the Emily Post of this show today. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you, Melanie. All sage advice. Appreciate it.
That's just good life advice right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Now we know.
Hopefully you did before. So if you're going to be driving to Southern California over the holidays, you do not have to worry about a big detour anymore. I-10 through LA is back open after that November 11th fire that damaged it. All the eastbound and the westbound lanes are open for the morning commute. The damaged stretch of the road handles about 300,000 vehicles a day. It is a key part of the Thanksgiving travel rush. Crews were able to remove the debris and the hazardous materials from beneath that section. And at this point, they're still working on a couple of the ramps, and there will be some overnight lane closures as the repairs continue. Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
So while that freeway is back open, the search is continuing for the person who's responsible for the fire that shut it down. And right now, police in LA are trying to find that person right there. They believe this person is connected to the fire. They think he's anywhere from 30 to 35 years old and may have injuries on his left leg.
Well, this morning, a mother and daughter are under arrest for stabbing another mother and daughter at a light rail station. Happened at the Mather Field Station in Rancho Cordova. Deputies say a woman and her daughter were in an argument with a group of people. It escalated, and then the stabbing. Deputies described their injuries as non-life threatening. As for those who were arrested, the mom was taken to the jail, the daughter to juvenile hall. Another minor was cited and released to family members. Meantime, Sacramento police arrested a man for the stabbing of another man. Happened yesterday afternoon near Exposition Boulevard and Leisure Lane near a car wash parking lot. Police say the victim was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. The suspect was identified as 63-year-old Jerry Witter. He stayed on scene and was arrested. Police have not said if the victim and suspect knew each other.
Turning now to the very latest in the war between Israel and Hamas, and some of the efforts to release some of the hostages taken by Hamas are ramping up. NBC News says negotiators are getting close to a deal for the release of potentially dozens of hostages, but that nothing is final yet. It would be in exchange for a pause in the fighting. The Biden administration says it's being cautious about those negotiations.
We need to adhere to the mantra that nothing is agreed until everything is agreed. Sensitive negotiations like this can fall apart at the last minute.
Meanwhile, the fighting in Israel is continuing to grow despite growing calls for the ceasefire. More than 30 premature babies had to evacuate from the Al-Shifa hospital to the border. The UN says that those in Gaza are worried about what the future holds for them as the fighting continues. Live look now at the state capitol this morning, and later today, interfaith leaders are going to unveil a traditional Jewish table to recognize the hundreds of hostages taken by Hamas during last month's attack. Leaders from the Jewish Community Relations Council, as well as family members of hostages, are planning on being there. It's going to be unveiled at 11 o'clock this morning on the West Steps.
Well, this morning, memories and tributes to late First Lady Rosalynn Carter here are pouring in from Washington, while services celebrating her life will begin next week. KCRA's Amy Lou is in Washington now with more on how leaders are remembering her.
Well, many are listing her contributions at the White House alongside her husband, former President Jimmy Carter. Rosalynn Carter made herself known in Washington, attending cabinet meetings and testifying before Congress, becoming a key part of policymaking alongside her husband. The couple's advocacy work extended beyond the White House as well, with their nonprofit, the Carter Center in Georgia. Living former presidents and first ladies like former President George W. Bush, remembering her as a woman of, quote, dignity and strength. Former President Trump commenting her work earned the, quote, admiration and gratitude of the nation, while Vice President Kamala Harris says she redefined the role of First Lady. A statement from the White House also calling the Carters and their relationship the definition of patriotism.
She was well known for her efforts on mental health and caregiving and women's rights.
The family is just showing up. You know, they're really an incredible family because they brought so much grace to the office.
Ceremony celebrating her life begin 1 week from today in Georgia. In Washington, I'm Amy Lou.
Well, 3 days of remembrances are scheduled. Next Monday, Rosalynn Carter's remains will be brought to the Carter Presidential Library and Museum, where the public can pay their respects. There will also be a wreath-laying ceremony at Georgia Southwestern State University, where there's a building named for the former First Lady. There'll be a private tribute service at Emory University in Atlanta on Tuesday, before her funeral Wednesday at the Carter Family Church in Plains, Georgia. She will be interred at the Carter's home.